like Totino's pizza rolls.
I love Totino.
But we have to be quiet.
Shh. My Totino's taste like a cheeseburger. Mine tastes like a taco. I love Totino.
Word's out. The rolls they crave now come in sandwich and Mexican favorites. Totino's Rolls. It's how kids help themselves.
On October 8th.
Please open up.
Queen Latifah.
We gotta play to your strengths, and thinking ain't one of them.
Jimmy Fallon.
All right, Your Honor.
Have you seen your face on the cover?
Oh, there's a better picture than
Oh,
that.
shut up.
Taxi. Rated PG-13. October 8th.
This is it, our biggest and last selling event. Bruner's Home Furnishings is in bankruptcy, and a colossal bankruptcy liquidation is now underway. Yes, we're closing the doors forever, and the entire inventory of fine furniture, bedding, leather, and oriental rugs must and will be sold at bankruptcy prices.
I'm running for the legislature to reform our schools, bring our jobs back, and change the political system. But we can't make progress until we change Sacramento, where both parties play partisan games instead of serving the people, and both parties are addicted to special interest money, where they win and we lose. I built businesses, taught school, and served our community. I'm not from the world of politics. Join me in bringing real reform and true bipartisanship back to California.
Steve Poizner for State Assembly.
What do we do? Where do we go? And who do we ask for help? Our government?
Marijuana is not a medicine. Marijuana is an addictive substance.
I have the right to make up my mind how I'm going to die.
A smoked weed is not medicine.
It's a God-given gift.
The United States is lagging behind other modern societies.
Marijuana does not cure anything at all.
They have this plant that grows. It's a weed. It's just a plant. And but everyone's making such a fuss over it. I know I'm here today because I've smoked pot.
This is really serious. I was, on the floor, throwing up, diarrhea, severe pain. This was not about obeying the law or disobeying the law. This was about saving my life.
All this is resting on the false premise that marijuana is a cure-all medicine.
How can I deny what I've seen and experienced?
I appreciate that they believe that they receive benefit, but the science doesn't necessarily support that.
I've had an experience where I see that my life is enriched by a simple plant. Then what kind of, what's the argument?
Right now, there really is no evidence to support the use of marijuana for any medical purposes.
I'm doing this to save my life. I'm doing this to be a healthier person. I'm doing this so that I can survive and be here to be a contributing member of society.
There's a big difference in medicine between feeling better and actually becoming better.
I knew that marijuana had been a help to me, so helping other people to grow their own, to me, it was a very patriotic thing.
The position of the federal government, it is not legal to possess, grow, or take marijuana in any state in this nation.
If I have to go all the way to the Supreme Court, so be it. I'm willing to go that route. I feel that it's the least I can do.
Local activists and patients fought to pass Proposition 215 back in 1996.
The proposition passed, which makes using marijuana for medical purposes legal in California.
But the federal government doesn't recognize the California law, so patients, doctors, and distributors throughout the state run the risk of being arrested by the feds every day.
All this while the fight on the federal level continues against marijuana.
Federal government, get off the back of those states that have used their legal process to have a limited use of marijuana for medical purposes.
It is a travesty for the federal government to send police into my state and arrest people and throw them in a cage in jail for doing something that the people, the vast majority of people in my state, voted to make a legal practice. This is contrary to American tradition. This is not right.
To ask federal law enforcement to look the other way in some states, but not others, is unfair and probably unconstitutional selective enforcement of a law.
A conservative reading of the Constitution would indicate that this is a situation where the states ought to make these kinds of determinations for themselves.
That's an easy one. It should be only a state issue.
We've turned this into a monster to the point where we won't even allow a person dying from cancer and AIDS to get a little bit of relief.
It does not help sick people.
Let's reflect again on how cynical and how dark it is to even contemplate sending someone to prison for a year when they may not even have that much time left in their life.
Are we compassionate or are we not?
His point would be well taken if indeed there were medical evidence that medicinal marijuana helped people, but there is none.
The FDA has not considered or approved marijuana for this use.
The federal government has made a mistake, not only here with marijuana, with all the drug laws. Let me tell you.
We need a revolution. We need a revolution in ideas.
All of a sudden you run into a situation where the medicine is not working, you know, and you can't get any relief. What do? You know, you're vomiting, nauseated, or you just, you know, you just can't sleep, nothing's working, and all of a sudden you know, somebody said something, oh, marijuana. I was diagnosed with cancer, prostate cancer, that's metastasized to my bones, back, vertebrae, both sides of the pelvis, and rib cage.
Dan will die of prostate cancer at some point. We're going on 6 years of working together. He has done amazingly well with the disease. The average person with recurrent prostate cancer lives about 3 years.
It was time for radiation for my treatment, you know, and I discovered that the drug they gave to stop the nausea was Marinol.
We have, in fact, isolated the active ingredient from marijuana, and it is available in a pill form to physicians to prescribe to their patients as Marinol.
I was just getting sick off of it. One of the nurses suggested that maybe I'd try some marijuana. She said it seems to work. I did, it worked, and so I had a tool that I knew something about that eventually I'm using it to this day right now. One of the things that I'm a little bit worried about or nervous today is, like, you know, am I going to hear another one of those predictions? Am I going to hear, like, you know, you have like 18 months and get your stuff ready? Or am I going to hear the same thing that I've been hearing for a while? It's kind of just not doing anything, but doing something.
So, how were you this week?
Fine.
Fine? Your scan was good.
Really?
Yeah, so remarkably, we're very happy to say, no changes whatsoever. Actually, the x-rays that they took from the bone scan just show arthritis.
Oh my God. I have arthritis.
So that's, they didn't see anything that looked like there was active prostate cancer. We've only had you on the hormonal shots at this point. There's a pretty good likelihood that the pills that we got you should be able to control things. Did you have a chance to start them yet?
I started the pills. Actually, I brought them with me. These are nasty.
You started taking them 2 a day?
2 a day.
Okay.
And the first 2 days, extremely nauseous. I was just barfing my...
Really?
I swear.
That's okay. Are you taking anything for nausea?
What I usually use is a little bit of marijuana.
And does that seem to have controlled?
Yeah, I just take a couple of puffs of medical marijuana, and it's maybe 2 minutes, something like that. You can feel the change, and it does work. It stops.
And you've been able to tolerate the medicine since then? Oh, good. So, I mean, overall, honestly, with regards to the fact of how long you've had this disease, the fact you've had it show up in your bones before, the fact that we're not seeing any signs of it there now, while it's not anything that's going to go away completely, I think that given the circumstances, things are going to be hopefully pretty well controlled.
Perfect. I like it. Take care, y'all. That works.
I would imagine still to measure his prognosis in terms of years. Yeah.
I'm just shocked. I cannot believe the ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster ride. And this one here, I started with my PSA just spiking up and then going for the bone scan and just feeling like everything was really nasty and coming here expecting the worst and getting the best.
I'm so happy.
Dan joins a group of medical marijuana patients who are banding together to make a collective for sick people.
The state may recognize them, but they're still breaking federal law.
When we come back, Dan's biggest battle begins. At 11, together on stage, but miles apart on how to best lead America. President Bush and Senator Kerry debate U.S. security and the war in Iraq. Plus 3 deadly bombings, dozens of children are killed as they receive candy from U.S. troops. Also, medicine that millions of people use to take away their pain is recalled. And brand new California laws concerning how you live and what you drive and your health at 11.
What's better, a 2005 Camry or great Camry deals? Well, this month, your Toyota dealer's got both. Right now, 2005 Camrys come with a choice of low 1.9% APR financing, $500 cash back, or an extra special Camry lease. Just $199 a month plus tax for 36 months with $23.56 due at signing. That's low financing, cash back, or a special lease. The choice is yours, but not for long. Great Camry deals end soon, so see your Toyota dealer today.
Guys?
No way!
Yeah, I got us on the Verizon Wireless Family Share Plan, so we can talk to each other as much as we want.
And it's got in, so you can talk to your friends all you want to. Really? Awesome!
Hey, group hug. Okay.
Sign up for the Family Share Plan, and now the whole family can make unlimited in-calls to each other and any other Verizon Wireless customer from our national in-coverage area. Plus, buy one LG 3200 for $29.99 and get one free.
Give me a call.
Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
If you need it. If you want it. Fry's has it. Be surprised at Fry's. This Hyundai 17-inch multimedia flat panel display is now $279.99. Norton Internet Security 2005 is $29.99 after upgrade and mail-in rebate. This Panasonic home theater system is now $199. Remember, your best buys are always at Fry's. Guaranteed.
I was walking through a park near town, and I think it was an arts fair. And there was a table there, and it was WHAM, Women's Alliance for Medical Marijuana. I went to one of their meetings just to find out what was going on. I've been with WHAM for a long time. Met a lot of people, you know, and lost a lot of people, too.
My experience with so many people who have died, it's undeniable relief. It's just undeniable relief. In 1973, I was in a car accident. I suffered a brain trauma that began a bout of epilepsy, and sometimes I'd have as many as 5 grand mal seizures a day.
It was just a lot of violent shaking, drooling. I don't really. It's a bad memory.
I was often hospitalized, generally monthly. It's kind of a prison of sorts.
All of my time was spent around her seizure activity.
Mike read in a medical journal in the early 70s about successful treatment using marijuana on laboratory-induced seizures in rats.
It was unbelievable to think about how simple it is to control her seizures now. I thought we have nothing to lose. It had gotten so bad.
We cultivated marijuana for my own personal use, and what I found within a very short time is I started to get a handle on the seizures. I could control the onset of the seizure.
We would put joints in every room of the house, so no matter where she was, if she started to have seizure activity, I could light a joint, stick it in her mouth, and get her to inhale.
We just couldn't even believe that it was possible, that it could work.
Well, finally got to a point where Valerie could drive a car again, I could leave her alone, it changed our lives.
The kind of freedom, if you can imagine, being able to go in the bathroom and shut the door and take a bath all by yourself. It was amazing. And if you're part of your process, answering your own need by creating your own medicine, gosh, it feels incredible. We were arrested in our home for the cultivation of marijuana by the Sheriff's Department.
We made the front page of the Santa Cruz Sentinel. We started getting phone calls from people in Santa Cruz County saying, hey, how can I do what you guys do? This is great. I've tried marijuana for my cancer or for my AIDS or for my whatever, and but I can't, it's too expensive, I can't buy it. What can I do?
Okay, here's one thing. Now, I wanted to ask you about this idea. People come to WHAM initially because they need access to medical marijuana, and they don't usually have very much money. They have very little because one of the first things after your health goes is your financial status.
The first year there may have been 10, 15 people, and then each year it's just more and more phone calls, more and more people, bigger and bigger organization.
So the way you get into WHAM is through attrition, If people die and we have enough medicine, then there's a door that opens.
And we want to talk about what's going on.
There's a twofold thing that we're doing here. One is that we create a community that allows people to help themselves and help each other.
I think it was either 1 or 2 days after Proposition 215 was passed, our nonprofit papers were stamped by the Secretary of State of California.
We use many different products. Tincture, we use capsules, we use a topical solution that you rub on, we use baked goods, and the smoke.
When I first came here, they didn't think I was going to live. Well, I fooled them.
Just up the rest, a little more.
So now this is the way that I can give back to what they have given me. They've given my life back to me. WHAM has made it so that I could endure 2 rounds of chemotherapy, 1 round of radiation. We're just a small group of very sick people that just want to keep each other as well as we can for as long as we can. We're helping people through the end stages of their life. And whatever we can do to make it more comfortable and let them ease out with honor, we're going to do it.
That's what it's about. That's totally what it's about. Just one of these muffins, somebody feel better, I feel better. It's all worth it. I'll go to jail for it.
My good friend who died last Tuesday, I remember when I first met her, she was so sick. I was holding her head and she looked up at me and she said, I can't take it anymore. I don't even want to be alive. And she had, at the time, a young son. And I said, well, you know, I can understand your suffering. I can see it. Do you want to try this? And she said, okay. She took one puff, and in moments, she looked up at me and she said, I cannot believe it. And then she said, I know. And then she said this. This is funny. She said, I know, you've been telling me. And from that moment, that was 10 years ago, from that moment on, she used very judiciously, but it helped her. She was able to meet the love of her life and to be married and to live a really good life, helping other people.
It is not about compassion. The FDA has not considered or approved marijuana for this use.
Our experience has proven to us that this is a medicine that's valuable and simple and free.
That an individual or few individuals' claims does not equate to good science. It needs to be studied to make sure there's no adverse outcome.
A lot of people know that marijuana has medical value. It's very obvious.
We don't need it as a medication in that form. A smoked weed is not medicine.
I've seen it time and time again, not just in WHAM members, but just people in general that use marijuana for medicine.
If it were just my own experience, I might question whether or not it would be an applicable avenue for anybody else. Surely, you know, how could I say this will work for you?
There's no science to suggest, one, that what the people are taking the marijuana for is any better than what's already available, and two, that they may not be harming some other part of their body.
I'm not saying that marijuana is going to cure anyone or cure anything. And I don't even think that probably one of us believes that. The only thing we're asking for is the right to choose our own treatment for our own illnesses.
When we come back, the DEA raids WHAM and chops down hundreds of marijuana plants. We'll hear from the patients and the agents who arrested them next.
Who are you? I'm a zero. You know, 0% rate for 72 months. Why are you in a cage? Oh, I'm a locked-in rate.
From September 28th through the 30th, you've got 72 hours to get locked into 0% financing for 72 months for qualified buyers. That's 0% interest for 6 whole years. It's a great way to lower your payments on every 2004 Chevy, but hurry. The 72-hour sale ends September 30th.
Shouldn't there be a percentage sign? He's on break.
Look out, carbs. Round Table's new Skinny Crust is here. Our world-famous dough rolled thinner for a lighter, crispier crust with 30% less carbs. Try Skinny Crust today with the delicious all-meat marvel with 4 tasty meats and 3 fresh cheeses. Only at Round Table.
California used to give teachers a tax credit for buying classroom supplies the schools can no longer afford. And last year, that tax credit was taken away. Meanwhile, California lets Indian casinos, an $8 billion monopoly, pay nothing in state taxes. So teachers and children lose while Indian casinos win. I didn't vote for that. Did you? Yes on 68. You pay your fair share. Why don't they?
I love the Bay Area. There's always something to do. Like this seafood restaurant I found in the Mercury News. Really good. There's the theater and dancing, comedy clubs, festivals, movies, and music joints that play everything from rock to Bach. That's how the Mercury News covers my world. Arts and entertainment is my guide to what's going on. That's why I subscribe.